The war that you're bringing to her front door and all of the things that you're lying about, making excuses about, neglecting to do, neglecting to be, and pretending to be, the war that you're bringing because you have not been a father to that child. The war that you're bringing because you have not given yourself the audacity to man up and to marry this woman that you have been stringing along for 4 years, pretending like you were going to marry her, pretending like you were going to give her all of the things that she asked for, but you knew good and well she was just a placeholder. You can't protect your peace if you bring in war to everybody's front step. And that's what I'm trying. I want men to realize that and acknowledge that and be real about it.
Yeah.
So this, all this, I'm protecting my peace. Come on, man. Look, she needs peace as well, but you can't give peace if you're only giving a piece and a fraction of yourself to him, to her, and her. That's a cop out. It's a bad cop out because you're basically saying she don't deserve the whole me, the full me. I'm just going to play it safe and give a little piece of me to every woman that I come across. That's not manhood. That's a weak man.
What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of It's Giving. I am your host, Sarah Fontenot, and if you have not yet, please hit that button below so you can get subscribed. Hit that little bell so you get a notification with each new piece of content. Now, I have to tell you guys are asking some really great questions. We have changed the way that we curate this show because of all of the questions and the submissions that you guys have done. And so we're starting to look into some professionals coming onto the show so we can answer questions more accurately, but also more so really directly inside of that field. Today, we are joined by an amazing guest, and he, number one, is a product of the product, married, come over 10 years now, been working with people relationally over 20 years now, is really teaching that there are still good men out there. There is still marriage happening out there, and you can have that too if that's what you desire. So please help me give it up for not the drink, but the man, Jack Daniels.
I love it. I love it.
What's up?
Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited to have you here.
I'm excited to be here.
So I have to ask you, if this season of your life were called It's Giving blank and you had to fill in the blank, what would it be called? And you have to say it's giving.
It's giving good men to every woman who knows she deserves one.
So you think it's based more on the woman or is it based more on the man?
I think it's definitely based on the man when it comes to being a good man. But also, I think that there's so many great guys that exist.
Yeah.
A lot of them are getting overlooked.
Why do you think that is? And why do people keep saying that the dating pool is trash? Because I don't agree.
It's not.
I'd agree with you.
No, 100%. It is not. It depends on who you are as an individual and how you're experiencing the dating pool. I don't think the dating is wrong. I think that people are flawed.
Yeah.
And I think that their expectations of what it should be and could be are also flawed.
Yeah.
And then you got people that come into situations where they're expecting the person that they're with to automatically be the person that they want them to be.
Yes.
Versus molding, mending, guiding, structuring, and giving people grace and patience. And I think that as a result of that, you're going to have a lot of trash and the pee in the pool.
That's a fact. That's actually a fact. I always say that I feel like there is a much smaller amount of high value. And then when you incorporate high earning men, and there are a lot less women that are high value feminine women.
Yeah.
But in the middle, so it's like the spectrum, right? That's on one side, this is on the other. But in the middle, it's like entitled women and disgruntled broke men.
Woo. Okay.
Where do you think that fits? Do you agree with the dating pool? What is high value to you?
So high value is, let's just separate the words. We're talking about you need to have a lot of values.
Yes.
Not valuables, but value. So I'm the founder of something that's called the Good Men Club.
Yes.
We basically collect and connect great guys to great women.
Love that.
So, real simple. We have an 11-point relationship readiness algorithm that we utilize for men. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I'll just tell you the top 5.
Okay.
There's intention,
Okay.
intelligence,
Mm-hmm.
income, integrity,
Mm-hmm.
and then issues.
Ooh, that's spicy.
Because we got to go through issues too.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about values, you're talking about what are those people's values in a lot of different forms, but mainly women are looking for like definitely intelligence, definitely intention, definitely income.
Yeah.
Those are their top, like, and I know income's not like a value, but it's something that.
No, it is a value to a woman.
Well, yeah, it's something that says, hey, you're going to be able to provide.
Yes.
You're going to be able to keep me safe, secure.
Yes.
And to have some type of lasting legacy for our
Yes.
family. So it is a high value for women.
Yes. Well, feminine women, I should say.
Well, yeah, feminine women.
Yes.
Okay. All
yes.
right. We got to make that distinction.
Yes, we do.
But how many people have those values intact? And how many people are executing according to those values, or are they just going off of the generic things that they have and that they possess for themselves? There's a lot of men, and I just want to say this because I'm a champion of men.
Me too.
I'm an extreme champion of men,
Yeah.
but I'm also a challenger of men.
Me
because
too.
I like to challenge men to be good men to become better men. And if we can do that, we'd have a whole lot better relationships, and we'd have a whole lot better communities, cities, country, world, whatever the case. But I think it starts with men.
Mm-hmm.
But we have a lot of men who are suffering from a crisis of irresponsibility, suffering from a crisis of immaturity. And what that does is it leaves our women suffering from a crisis of identity and intimacy. And all the while you got kids they're raising their hands for help to get answers to questions that they can't get answers to because we're too consumed and inebriated on the drug of our own success that we can't focus on them. And when we get our stuff together as men, women can't do nothing but fall in line. You have been in a room before and there's a room full of women and a man stands up and speaks?
Yes.
What happens?
Everyone listens.
If we as men begin to lead the way we're supposed to lead, the dating pool won't be trash.
I agree.
The dating pool won't have any pee in.
Right.
We will have our acts together. And what has happened is we're too consumed and self-absorbed because, can I tell you a secret?
Yes.
It's hard being a man.
Tell me why.
Every man will tell you, they won't admit it to you, but it's extremely hard being a man because we don't have all the answers.
Of course not.
Nah. But we're supposed to have all the answers.
But where did that come from? Why do men even put that pressure on themselves?
It's innate. God gave it to us. We are, men do 4 things very well. We provide, problem solve, protect, and pray for our women if he's a good man. Provision is something that it can go a lot of different directions. We can talk financial, we could talk, mental, emotional, spiritual. But problem solving, we got to fix it.
Yeah.
So if you got a problem that comes up, our job and our role as man, I got to figure out how to solve it. And most of the time, no one gives us guidance on how to do that. We just feel like we have to do it. So when you come to us with a problem, you come to us with a situation, and you're our woman, or you're our daughter, or whatever the case, I got to figure out how to solve that as a man. So for us, if we don't have any guidance, anyone that's undergirding us, or anyone that's teaching us on how to do that better, we're self-reliant.
True. So
we tend to go inside. We tend to go inside of ourselves instead of reaching out for help, reaching out for other people, explanation, strategy, structure. And we put that much pressure on ourselves all the time. So because of that, it's in our nature. And for us to actually understand who we are better, it's hard.
So where does a man that wants to be a leader, because it has been a high topic of conversation
Mhm.
that men in 2024 are severely lacking leadership. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's stemming, is it because they're not having experiences of seeing the leadership? Is it because they don't have a mentor that they could go to learn leadership? It's because they're not in the Good Men program. Like literally, where do men learn how to be leaders? How can a man that's listening learn how to be a better leader?
Humbleness. So many men have pride, they have egos, they have this thing that says, I gotta do it. I have to be the man. You gotta humble you. Submission is a bad word in today's
I don't
society.
think it is,
I
but
don't think it is either.
I think it's necessary, to be honest.
I think for a man to be a man, you gotta learn how to submit.
Yes.
And most men, when they hear submission, they think weakness. It's not weakness.
Agreed.
Every man, I'll tell you, the weakest man in the room is the man that doesn't know how to submit. He has problems with authority.
Yep.
He has a problem with leadership. He
Yep.
has a problem with guidance. He has a problem. You have to submit to someone.
Mhm.
Like, there's no way you're going to get
Okay.
around like submitting. And ultimately, you know, when women are talking about submission, they're talking about, you know, I'd love to submit to you if. I'd love to submit to you when. If a man of God, and I'm just saying this, if a man of God understands how he's supposed to submit, he submits to God, like, number one.
Yes, that's
Like,
what I was thinking while you're talking.
Like, as you submit, if you can't submit to anybody, if you can't submit to God, that man's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
A serious problem.
Yes.
He's not going to be committal. He's not going to be loyal.
Mhm.
He's not going to be so many different things.
Mhm.
Leadership comes from surrounding yourself with the right people. There was a study that just came out, and it was talking about how men lack the connections that women have.
True.
We don't have a system or a circle of friends that we can call. I was doing spoke at a conference, a male conference, not long ago, probably like last month. And I asked the question, I said, how many of you have three people that you can call and talk to about some of the things that are going on in your life? Not money, not sports, not cars, not women. Things that are going on in your life that you need to call somebody and talk to. How many of you talk to at least three people? Ask me how many people in the room raised their hand.
How many people?
Maybe three.
Wow.
And we're talking about a room full of 100-something people.
Wow.
Men.
Yeah.
Men tend to isolate.
Yeah.
We tend to go into this shell of figuring it out on our own. And the more we do that, the more we disconnect from who it is that we're actually supposed to be.
And I agree with you. This is like ingrained in my mind, because I did a post on the podcast, and we were talking about how a man should feel safe, because in my relationships, almost every man I've ever dated has cried literally on my lap. Like, that's okay. Get it out. And for me, I look at you like, you're so strong if you're willing to be that vulnerable. But a lot of men take vulnerability and weak and put them in the same category, and they're not. They're completely different.
Absolutely.
Vulnerability, I could cry and still whoop your tail. However, weak is when you break. You break under pressure, right? And so I think the differentiation factor is really important, because we're human at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And so I did the clip, and I was saying how, men should be able to confide in their women. Men should be able to feel safe, because it's important for men to feel safe as well in a relationship. It's not just women. And men are actually far needier than women are, in the reality of it. And so inside of that, it's like, when you get to a space, it's a blessing if you get that, but most men don't. And so the responses were mind blowing. How many men were like, well, no, that's not how it works. Women don't want that. Now I'm going to be weak. Now I'm a lesser man. Now I'm this. Now I'm that. And it's like, I am just so confused. What is being pushed in this agenda?
Happened? You know what happened?
What happened?
Somebody hurt him.
Well, there's so many wounded men in that case.
There's a lot of hurt men. But let me tell you what happened and how that happens. So a man cries on your lap.
Yeah.
He tells you his deepest, darkest secrets.
Yes.
He tells you things that he's never told or exposed to anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Then what happens? He feels good.
Mm.
Because he's shared, he's been vulnerable, he's given a part of himself to you,
Mm-hmm.
and you've taken it and you said, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is going to be all right.
Yes.
Then something bad happens. Something doesn't go the way that you expected it to go. And then what has happened to most men, women have turned around and weaponized their wounds. And you can't weaponize somebody's wounds. And they'll take that and they'll spin it and turn it against that man and utilize it in some type of embarrassing facet, some type of shameful, and he feels abandoned.
Mm.
He feels neglected. He feels misused. He feels taken advantage of because I opened myself up to this woman and she took what I gave her and she used it as a weapon to defend herself for whatever thing or travesty or discretion she took the most vulnerable thing and kicked me when I was down. Therefore, I'm not going to do that again. And that's how most men, and I'm not saying that's the right way because it happens. Being able to talk to somebody and tell people your secrets, it happens.
Mm-hmm.
People are going to use it for however they want to. But there are too many women that are doing this in spite.
They're in their masculine because there's no other reason to do that other than to hurt.
Yeah.
And actually it reminds me of an experience that I had when I used to, it's a game called Elevate, but it's a brain game, right? And so it's making sure that your reading, your writing, your memory, your spelling, and I forget the other one are all intact.
Okay.
And for all of them and speaking. So it goes over vocabulary and all these little things. Great game to play. And I realized all of them I rank really high. Like I'm in the 99th plus percent in all of them, except for memory. My memory, and I say this all the time, like with my team, I'll be like, I don't remember what I did yesterday, but I can remember a statistical fact from 1972 that blacks and whites, like it's so random. I literally went to the doctor, like, am I getting early? Is this early signs of dementia? Because and that's why really realistically speaking, that's why I started playing the game to elevate my level of memory. But I say all of that to say in the game, there's a processing game. I say processing because I'm Canadian, and it will at one word at a time, it'll give you a paragraph. So it'll be like the dog went to the park and at the park. And then it gives you some kind of fun fact about the dog that's at the park. And the park is actually a volcano and whatever. And then you have to remember, it asks you questions about what you just read. Is this true or false? And which was in the sentence. For whatever reason, the way my brain processes, I struggled every day that I played this game. I struggled with this game. I could not, whatever. And so I realized, okay, well, where is this in effect in my life? And so I had the conversation with the man that I was dating at the time. And I said, I think I have a problem with processing information. Like things don't, I have to see it in my brain, and I can't explain the way that I'm wired, but I have to see it in my brain in order for it to make sense. Long story short, we were out one day. And while we were out one day, my face sometimes does talking more than my mouth does. And not in a disrespectful way, but I'm very receptive to the words that are happening. So sometimes I'm just wide-eyed and just like a doe in headlights, and they're having and we were all having a conversation with other people. And in that moment, I didn't understand. And one of the things that you'll hear me say, if you know me, is, can you say that in a different way? I don't understand the question because I need understanding, right? Long story short, this man said, oh, you probably didn't process that right. You probably didn't process that right. It's fine. We can come back to it later. It's not that important for you to get right now. But in front of everybody else. Okay. In that moment, I felt myself close off a little. I felt myself say, oh, it's not safe to tell you the truth for me. And that's not even a big thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. When you share something with someone, and you give a piece of yourself away, that's intimacy.
Yes.
That's vulnerability at a heightened level.
Yes.
And some people don't know how to handle other people's stuff
Yeah.
because they haven't dealt with their own stuff.
Mm.
I've been doing therapy. I don't know, however many years. Helped a lot of people.
Yeah.
From single moms to celebrities.
So you mean you've been doing therapy as in being the counsel?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's just a range of people.
Yeah.
And this is something that's familiar with everyone.
Yeah.
This isn't like, and I'm talking about, I've helped presidents of Fortune 500 companies to prostitutes to prisoners in cell block D.
Wow.
I've had a range. What's interesting is everyone wants a safe space. Everyone wants someone that they can confide in and that will guard their heart.
Mm.
And I think that when you're talking about protection, especially when it comes to women, it's really important.
The most important.
Really important. Men just need to do 3 things. 3 things. If you do 3 things for a woman, I promise you, she'll be all right.
What is it?
Make her feel seen, secure, and significant.
Ooh.
Seen, secure, and significant. See her for who she is in all of her excellence, her brilliance, her beauty. Make her feel seen.
Mm.
And then make her feel secure.
Mm.
Make her feel safe. And I'm not just talking about protecting her physically, but I'm talking about protecting her heart as well.
Yes.
What we were talking about. You got to guard her heart. And then make her feel significant. Celebrate her.
Yes.
Support her.
Yes.
Lift her up, man. I don't know where this notion came from that men are the prize. It's the most ridiculous thing I've heard.
I think it's the most feminine thing I've ever heard.
Men
Men are to be won. That's what that's saying to me.
I'm like, bruh, like, no, your woman is the prize.
I think we're both the prize.
And then together,
Yes.
we become the prize because we're better together.
Yes.
But hey, I need to pursue you.
Yes.
I need to win you. I need to like where's the some men are missing some things and they becoming prima donnas right now.
I agree.
And we got to get out of that. We got to get out of that manifestation, but make her feel seen, secure, and significant. And she will pour back into you in every shape, form, in ways that you can't even imagine.
Yes.
If you do those, now that's just 3, but I mean, it's a whole lot of other things. But if you do those 3, I promise you,
yes,
she'll pour into you.
And that's so good because I do feel like, well, honestly, okay, so let's bring it back. So I agree with you in the sense that women need to feel seen, secure, and significant.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with you. Speak life into your partner and vice versa because men need the same thing too.
Absolutely.
But this is my question because I feel like in a world of the me-ism where everyone is just thinking about themselves. Look how great I am. I am the prize. The level of entitlement is at an all-time high.
Right.
On both ends of the spectrum, right?
Yep.
For men and women. And I'm really referring to the disgruntled broke man and the modern day woman. Entitled modern day woman. For them, my question is, in this world of me-ism, do you think that that's why, if you think men are afraid to get married? Do you think men are afraid to be married in 2024?
I think men are afraid to be married to the wrong woman.
Okay. So
and I'll preface it by saying this. I also believe that that's a weak man mentality. Now, and a strong woman can't date no weak man.
that's a fact.
A strong woman can't marry no weak man.
No.
I'm not talking about strong in the sense of strength. I'm talking about resilience.
Capacity.
I don't
mindset,
like
integrity.
all of those things.
Yes.
And the next question is going to be, well, what's a weak man? A weak man is someone who has no goals, no guidance, no vision, no plan, no connection to God. He is all about himself. He's just simply drifting without any clear direction as to who he is and what he's supposed to be doing. You can't lead anybody if you can't lead yourself.
Say that.
So if you are a weak man who is incapable of leading anyone but yourself, no woman, no family, no children, that man is afraid of marriage. Because all it's telling him to do is he needs to step up and do something and commit to something more than himself. But a man that understands himself and understands strength, he ain't afraid of marriage. He welcomes marriage. The longest study that was running at Harvard said that the more intelligent a man is, the more smarter he is, the more likely he is to get married and stay married.
Wow.
Intelligence is a key indicator
Yeah.
as to whether or not somebody's going to stay married.
You know why I think that is? I think the more intelligent that you are, the more ability you have to problem solve, not just for yourself, but for others, but in your relationship. So now, instead of I'm smart enough to understand your come from, I know that if you really love me, your intention is not to be malicious. Your intention was not trying to hurt me.
Yeah.
I'm smart enough to be able to identify, hey, it probably could have gone that way, but let's talk about what did you really mean when you said X, Y, Z? You know, I that makes a lot of sense to me, to be honest.
Problem solving, conflict resolution.
Yes.
But you also realize this is a partnership.
Yes.
Marriage is a partner. It's not like this idea, this fantasy that, hey, we're going to fall in love, we're going to get married, you're going to whisk me away and we're going to live happily ever after. That's a fantasy.
Yeah.
And it's something that has really hindered our ability to be able to make quality connections. And I think when you look at your relationship as a true partnership, I am building love, I am building life, I am building legacy with someone who gets me, someone who understands me, someone who connects with me, who knows exactly what it is that I exude, what it is that I'm interested in, what I want, what I desire, and what I deserve.
Yeah.
And when you connect with that person and you build, like all of this, I got to have it together before I get with you. We got to cut that out because we need to get to a space where we're building something together. People don't come already made.
No.
They don't come already together.
No.
You're going to learn some things about your partner that you never knew. I learned some things about my wife that I never knew like 2 years ago.
Really?
It's a constant learning thing.
How long did you date before you got married?
A little under a year before I proposed. It don't take long. You know when you know. I knew I was going to marry her probably 30 days in. I started making plans, but I had to test her and make sure she was the actual person that I thought she was. She needed to jump through a few hoops.
What were the hoops? What did they look like?
It was more like putting her in situations like, would she pay for the meal?
Really?
I mean, but she was always giving. She wasn't like stingy with hers or anything like that. But it was more, I needed to understand her value system. I needed to understand what was she like around kids? Who was she in pressure situations? What was she like around my family? Could she fit in? Could she blend in? Could she laugh about some of the jokes? Could she brush some things off that people, who is she ultimately? Can she let her hair down? Can she have fun? Was she always, just about her work, or could she actually work with in the confines of flexibility? I needed to understand if I liked her parents. I needed to understand if I liked her family. Because these are the people that you got to see and you got to be with. It ain't just the person that you decide to partner with.
Could you be with someone whose family you did not really connect with?
Nah.
No?
Nah.
Why?
Because that family is a part of them.
True.
And discounting that part of them is going to become problematic at some point, because at some point you're going to have family events, holidays. It's challenging for you to say, I can't do your family. I'm not coming.
Oof.
You go by yourself.
Sheesh.
It creates dissension.
Yeah.
In the relationship. It creates resentment. And it's this little thing that starts to fester. One thing after another thing after another thing. And then the stories that you start telling yourself, he's doing that because he has someone else.
Mm.
He's doing that because I'm not the one. He's doing that because I'm not good enough. He's doing that. I'm not worthy. I'm not blah, 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 blah. And then it becomes a powder keg and it explodes.
Mm.
All of a sudden, you're like, how did we get here? And it's this huge argument, this huge like conflict. And now we're going through a divorce.
Mm-mm.
Little thing
Yes.
starts to add up to bigger things. So
Absolutely.
nah, 11 months in, I proposed.
Wow.
I was ready to be married. Though.
Did she have children?
She didn't have no.
So, I have this theory.
You know, she had no children. She was a virgin.
Shut the front door.
No.
She was a
She
virgin.
she shut her front door.
She was literally a virgin.
Yeah, she was a virgin.
How old was she?
We got married. She was 33.
She was a virgin at 33.
Mm-hmm.
That's rare.
I know.
That's why you got married.
I got the
11 months.
best.
You said, I'm gonna lock this down. Okay, I ain't waiting no longer.
Yeah,
She is serious about this. Wow.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So she had. Wow.
No kids. I didn't have kids. She didn't have kids.
Oh, so you guys had your three together.
Mm-hmm.
That is so
Triplets.
beautiful.
Yeah.
I didn't know they were triplets.
You know I had triplets. Yeah.
No.
All
And
girls.
two are brown skin, and the other one's a little
Just a little
mocha.
bit. Yeah. A little bit. Yeah. In the middle.
But
yeah.
they're triplets.
Triplets.
So fraternal.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
big was her belly?
It was big.
I can't imagine.
I know. She carried for 34 weeks.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow.
We had triplets in the pandemic. So at the very beginning of the pandemic, they were born in April. So the pandemic started in March.
Yep.
They were born in April.
Oh, that's when it was scary.
So we were closed in. It wasn't scary.
I mean, like at the hospital. Did you do it at the hospital or in your
Yeah,
house?
it was definitely in the hospital. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I'd have
At the,
triplets
at
at
the
home.
house.
When or if God blesses me with a baby, I will be in a bathtub in my living room.
Oh, you want to? Okay, you're gonna do one of
For
those.
sure.
But
I
not
will
if
have
you
a
got
doula,
not if you have
triplets.
multiples.
Yeah, no.
gotta-
If I'm
it's-
having twins, I'll probably. Well, actually,
yeah,
no.
They had about 17 doctors in the delivery room.
17.
Yeah. It's a high risk pregnancy.
Yeah,
and
I'm high risk
delivery.
because I'm 36. I'm technically geriatric high
Yeah,
risk
I mean,
pregnancy
yeah.
at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have
But you
children
still-
yet.
You don't?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
One
Nothing.
day
It's all right.
or never. I'm open. To be honest, I feel so much freedom. Like people are like, well, what's going to happen? I don't
Mhm.
know what God has in store for me.
You never know.
And the things that I used to be like, this is a hard no in the past. Now I'm like, not that it's not, and not crazy stuff. Like I'm
Mhm.
not going to do domestic violence or disrespect. Like
Mhm.
certain things I just never will do. But like the weird little quirk things that you're like, I used to really love long hair. I used to be like, I need a man with long hair. And then every man I dated had dreads. It was like this whole thing where I was like, oh, I just, now
so
I'm
bald
like,
head men had no chance.
back in the day, no, not even almost. But I was a child, you know.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
when I think of myself at 20 and 21, like I was a
Yeah.
kid. I was
Well,
such
yeah,
a kid.
we were all- yeah.
So anybody that was bald, I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Didn't make no sense.
And now
I have no idea what's in store.
you don't know.
I'm open.
Okay.
I'm
Good.
open to what God has for me.
I'll tell you this.
Mhm.
She was 40 years old when she had the triplets. It was a blessing. Absolute blessing. 3 little miracles.
I don't think I'm having kids past 40.
I wouldn't, I'm not recommending that.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you that,
Yeah. Now I could surrogate
it's never
a
too
child
late. Yeah.
at 40
Yeah.
or 50 or
Yeah.
whatever age. I'm
Yeah.
open to that.
I wouldn't want you doing it at 50.
I surrogate.
I know, but I wouldn't want you doing it.
I
at
know
50.
because then I'm an old mom. I'm already an old mom right now. If I got pregnant tomorrow, I'm an old mother
You'd be surprised at how many people at the daycare.
that are old.
Mm.
I'm gonna be grandma. They're gonna be
Not
like, "That's
old.
grandma," and it's like,
It's
"No,
people-
that's my
There's people
mom."
older than me. I'm not calling it old. I think people are having children later. And I'll tell you an interesting study that came out, and they said people that have children after the age of 40
Mhm.
live longer.
For their children, probably.
They have to. I mean, I don't say they have to, but they live longer.
And kids keep you young.
Yeah. And people are getting married later.
Agreed. Do
So-
you think that's good or bad?
I think it's great. I think live your life, do all the things that you've ever wanted to do, explore, and be comfortable with who you are.
So inside of the argument where people are saying, well, women should have their kids young because we can only have kids until we're 35, blah, 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 blah. That's why you shouldn't wait until you're later to get married and have children. What's your approach on that?
I think it goes both ways.
Okay.
I think a lot of women do it wrong.
What is that? Oh, wow.
Especially when you're talking about looking for your husband.
Yeah.
I think a lot of women pursue their personal interests, their careers, and everything. They pour everything into that, and then they look up and their pool has shrunk in such a way. Because when you're in college, when you're in high school, you're surrounded by your peers.
Yes.
All the time.
Yes.
You get that first job, it starts to dissipate. You try to hold on to those ties a little bit. You're still kind of going out and partying. You still kind of get, to all of the picnics or whatever. But your coworkers, they're older than you. Your coworkers, they ain't your friends. They're your coworkers. So you get to see people that are in your age bracket less and less and less.
Yeah.
And then it becomes this mundane routine. I go to work, I get up, I come home. Maybe I go to church. I go to the gym. That's it.
Yeah.
You start to be exposed. Your level of exposure decreases. So instead of doing that, you should do the opposite, where a lot of people have noted that people of other ethnicities have been groomed to pursue and to find their husbands in college.
True.
Whereas Black women have
fun.
they have fun, but they've been taught a different standard, especially Black women of this generation.
What is the standard?
Be independent.
I hate that.
Get your money.
Terrible idea.
Do what it is that do what it is that I couldn't do, and it's partially their moms.
It's trauma.
It's their moms having dealt with whatever it was that they had in lack, and said, "I don't want you to be this way."
So, do you feel like inside of the group of men that you coach and you work with, and inside of your company, that you would consider those men to be high value men? And also, would you consider them to be high value, high earning men?
So in the Good Men Club is basically a matchmaking agency. So we have a dating app. When we have in-person mixers, and then we have like the high-end matchmaking agency. The majority of the men that we collect are high value.
Okay.
The majority of men that we collect, because we screen them and we vet them, we make sure that these guys are, number one, marriage-minded, commitment worthy, and they're looking to make quality connections. They're not just looking to play the field. There's a lot of guys out here that, do you.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at that. But if you're looking for something serious and not just something casual, then we want you at the Good Men Club.
Right.
So those are the guys that we collect. And then also another way that we actually collect those types of men is we have a philosophy that says good people know good people.
True.
So every woman that comes in has to invite at least one guy that she either has dated, dumped, or doesn't want for herself. And that could be a cousin, that can be an uncle, or a coworker, or a classmate, social media friend, whatever the case. We just believe in the invitation process. So every guy invites a woman, and every woman invites a guy.
Wow.
So that helps us with the vetting process a little bit, because I know good people.
Yeah.
I mean, you ain't gonna send nobody that is
That's
riffraff,
crazy. Yeah,
right? So,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's a small filter for for who it is that we have in the club, and then we go and we filter and screen the rest.
Have you ever had to kick anybody out of the club?
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay,
all the time. Yeah, men and women.
Wow,
men and women.
Wow,
more women than men though.
Why?
Women. There's certain women that think they're good and they're not.
Break that down.
Everyone. So, one of the number one question that I get is, where are all the good men? Women
I don't
ask me
see
that
that.
all the time. Where are the good men? Okay, we got them. I need a good man. And then they say, I need a good man.
Mm,
What makes you need a good man? Are you a good woman?
right.
You think you're a good woman because they start to throw out accolades. Well,
Mm,
I have 2 degrees. I got a house. I got a good job. And I'm a good woman. Now you got some good assets.
right. Right.
But the qualities and the values that you have don't necessarily make you a good woman.
Right.
And if I could go in and I could really sit down with everyone, I'd see that their background and their history was probably flawed in a lot of different respects. So you'll see a lot of attitudes and demeanors that don't really belong in the club. So,
Mm.
you know, we got digital bouncers.
Okay, like you got to go. Okay, get
They
out.
gotta kick people out the club. So
Yes.
yeah, every woman is not a good woman.
Yeah.
And we make that clear.
So when you this is kind of like the what do you bring to the table conversation, right? Do you believe in that question or do you think it's a silly question?
I think it's a silly question.
I agree.
I think it's an extremely silly question because we all have value
Mm-hmm.
and you all have qualities and characteristics that match and mirror. I don't believe in chemistry. I believe in chemistry. I don't think chemistry matters as much as people think it matters.
Oh, yeah, no.
I think compatibility is more important than chemistry.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
In my past experiences, I have never chosen from chemistry.
Really?
Never.
Ever?
Never. Not one single
Never
time.
got the butterflies. You never like
I never dated them.
Somebody's like,
I ran in the opposite direction.
You ran away from them?
Every single time because I don't trust that part of me.
Really?
Yes. In fact, my sister will tell you in my past experiences, she would say, Sarah has never dated an attractive man. And all of the men that I have dated have been men that have worked on. Now, I thought they were attractive, to be clear. She didn't think so.
Mm-hmm.
I thought so.
Mm-hmm.
But they all like were so persistent in the pursuit that, and this is toxic, but it's my experience in the past. I'm talking about when I'm younger, that I was like, whoever was most persistent would win, which was not rooted in alignment, which was not rooted in purpose or integrity or, are we going to the same place? It was literally like, oh, this man really loves me. Okay.
Because he kept pursuing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Guilty truth. I should be ashamed, but I'm not.
You never gave in.
No.
To like somebody's good looks or just like.
No, I don't even like if you're super good looking, like if you're a 10 on the Richter scale, I don't want you because you're probably entitled.
10 is probably, that's kind of high for a man.
Yeah, I don't.
Men ain't supposed to be pretty.
Yeah, I can't date a pretty man, but I like handsome. I like a handsome man.
You know what's interesting? Most men have no idea who they are or where they are on the scale, and they're not honest about it. Most people aren't honest about it.
Like Kevin Samuel says, if you could rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 with fresh out the shower, know nothing, what would you be? And you can't say 7. Don't tell me your number, but that's what he says. I'm
comfortable.
Oh,
I understand. See, I understand. And I try to teach men the exact same thing.
Yeah,
I'm a 6 at best.
Shut up.
No. Listen now. I'm a. I ain't the most. Look. I'm a 6 at best. Now,
not at best.
Stop at best. It. Now, what moves me up the scale? Is my personality, my intelligence, my integrity, my consistency, my loyalty. All of these qualities, my level of kindness and compassion moves me up the scale. So now I'm about a 7.
That's only a 7?
I'm about a 7 now. But then this one takes me over the list. My income takes me up to about an 8.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah, I'm about an 8. I'm a solid 8. Guaranteed. Because
you'd only give yourself an 8.
Oh yeah. And I'm in the top 1%.
Right.
I'm an 8. But some people think just because they have that they should be a 10.
Well,
but
what is
I'm
a
realistic.
10?
I'm
What
realistic
is a
about
10 for a man?
I mean, there's some pretty dudes out there. I don't know.
I mean, this is true.
I'm not him.
I guess, okay, so I guess then it would probably be the super tall, 6 foot and above.
I'm 6'2".
I'm just, well, then that probably makes you a 9.
I'm still an 8. I'm comfortable being an 8.
Okay.
I'm all right with that.
Okay.
And I pulled a beauty queen. I'm all right.
Yeah.
My wife, she was former Miss DC,
Wow.
former Miss Fort Worth,
Yeah.
Miss America finalist.
But I'm
all right.
No, you know what I got to tell you though, women, we don't care about how men look.
You don't. You
We
care.
don't care.
You care about the values and the qualities.
We care about how we feel.
Well, that's true too.
We care about how do you make us feel, and
Yeah.
if you make us, even though for some it could just be love bombing.
Humor is good too.
Yeah.
If you can make a laugh, man.
But you know what's funny? I feel
That's
like
a
a
good
lot
thing.
of women that are dating funny men kind of hate their jokes now. Like at first it's like, oh my God, you're so funny. And then it turned into like, oh, can't you ever be serious? Like, why are you always joking?
Yeah, you don't want overkill. You just want her to get your sense of humor.
Yeah.
Like if she gets it every now and then, you can make her smile, you're all right. That's a big plus for men.
So, okay, I love that. And I think that that's very true. And it actually makes me feel like if you get her, which brought me back to marriage.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think needs to happen to see more men excited about marriage in 2024?
I think that we got to be realistic about it.
Okay.
And what I try to teach guys is that don't think about this as, see, a lot of men think that they're going to lose. They're going into it with a losing attitude. Like, I'm going to lose all my money. She's going to take all away from me. I'm going to do something and she's going to get mad. She's going to change her mind and she's going to divorce me and I'm going to lose everything. Okay, if that's the case, let's look at this from a realistic standpoint. Let's say you got money, which most of them don't. The average man makes $47,000 in America. Let's just be clear.
Yeah.
These are low level vibration conversations.
I say the disgruntled broke man.
So let's just say, okay, you don't want to give up your money. You don't want to lose your money.
Right.
There are ways to protect your money.
Yes.
But the problem is you hanging around other broke people.
Yeah.
So if you really want to protect yourself and protect your assets, protect your money, hey man, put it in the trust. Hey man, get an offshore account. Hey man, get a prenuptial agreement. All of these things, it does away with the fear of losing your money, losing your assets. And if you take that away, you take away that fear, you take away the access that someone else has to some of the things that you have. That's number one. Number two, I think we got to look at this thing from a different perspective. It's not just marriage, it's commitment. And the more you're willing to commit, because there are different ways to get married.
What does that mean?
You can do it legally, or you can do it, you can just get a license.
Like go to the courthouse?
You only have to go to the courthouse. You can do like when you get married, you get a marriage certificate. You go and you get the whole little, from the state or whatever.
Yeah.
There are other ways to actually make a commitment. You don't have to do it legally to get married. I know. You're looking at it like, what are you talking about? Look it up.
I mean, no, I actually know that a marriage certificate was created in 1929 to stop Black men from marrying white women. So I do know that. So I know that the difference for me, I feel like marriage is a godly thing. A marriage certificate is a societal thing.
And legal thing.
Yeah. And so there are forms of protection. Now, that being said, if you have a good woman, because the truth is, when you have a good feminine woman, you become a better man. You become a higher value man. You become a higher sought after man. You get more opportunities because you become this man. There are definitely ways that having a high value feminine woman that you are enhanced. It's almost, you can't even quantify it because a lot of the things are intangible. And so when that happens, I think if she's leaving you off in your character better than she found you,
Yeah.
why would you not want to leave her off better than you found her? And so what I mean by that is most feminine women will diminish what they're doing in their career to come to help their partner. It's natural. It's innate. We can't help it. I wish that we could, but we can't. It is what it is. And so inside of that, if I'm diminishing what I have and you're becoming a better man, then I also am exchanging inside of the best years of my life, by the way, up until we're about 50, 55, until we get to that point. I would expect to have some protection. And I don't feel bad for saying that. Now, that being said, I do think that there should be a prenuptial agreement. I do think that there should be a form of protection. If I didn't have nothing that, you could take what you had and there's different ways to do it. But I say this all the time. If we've been together for 1 to 3 years, thank you for this experience. I love you and I'm grateful for you. And we can gracefully go our separate ways.
But if you built something together.
If we built something together, that's different.
You deserve it.
But that's what I'm saying. From 5 to 10 years, this is what it's going to look like. 10 to 15 years, this is what it's going to look like. 15 to 20 years, this is what it's going to look like. 20 plus years, this is what it looks like. Because ultimately, in that time, your life has become better with me in it.
Marriage is more beneficial for men than it is for women.
I agree. Do you think women need men?
Yes.
Tell me why.
This is a loaded question.
I know.
By the way. I believe that women need men. Let me answer it this way.
Okay.
1973, there was a cultural anthropologist by the name of Ernest Becker.
Okay.
He won the Pulitzer Prize for writing a book that was called The Denial of Death. The Denial of Death. In that book, they talked about some of the things that we talk about to ourselves inside of our head about death. Every single day, we're thinking about death. You brush your teeth because you don't want to get some type of bacterial infection. You comb your hair, you don't want to get lice. Like you eat healthy because you want to live longer and not die. All of these things, but we deny ourselves of all of those thoughts because if we thought about it on a minute-to-minute basis, we go crazy. If we thought about it on a second-to-second basis, we go crazy. So a lot of the things in our lives become routine. If that is the case, where things start to become routine and we don't need to have this idea of where it is that we're going, sure, women wouldn't need men. But if and when you get lonely at night, when you need something to pour into, or when you need someone to pour back into you, you got to have something that gives you a sense of alignment and purpose. And I think that we belong together to have this alignment and purpose so that we can have the betterment of life, our family, our children, our legacy. And I think women become better people when they're with someone.
How so?
Not just because she has to be propped up with a man. Not just because she has to have a man to survive, but because we're better together. That's the way God designed us. He designed us to be together. Men become better. A man doesn't know who he is until he gets with a woman.
I agree.
Until he really doesn't know who he is until he decides to commit to that woman and take care of that woman.
Yes.
And not just take care of himself.
And I think, and I really just want to emphasize what you just said. A man doesn't know who he is until he gets with a woman, not what. Because a lot of men will immediately say, what? I'm an engineer. I'm a doctor. I'm a this. We're not talking about accolades or achievement. We're talking about who you're being.
That's what you do.
Right. Not who you are. Exactly. Yeah. And so I think it's really important that you emphasize that because there's something about having that intuitive, feminine creation energy around you because this is what I've learned inside of studying masculinity and femininity is masculine learns from error. Like
Mhm.
it's trial and error. Everything that oh, this didn't work, let's go this way. And then you till the field, oh, this doesn't
Yeah.
work, we ought to go. Everything is trial and error. And so inside of that trial and error, when you get with a woman, you're being tried in ways you've never been tried because you're bringing femininity, the yin to the yang. Now it's like I see everything differently.
Mhm.
You know, I can see more colors. Everything feels more robust. Everything seems, you know, all of these different things. And so inside of that, I just really wanted to emphasize in what you said, because if you only ever have men around you, you can't see the picture while you're in the frame.
Most men
Mm-hmm.
are afraid to admit how much we need women in our lives due to the lack of love that we have for ourselves.
Do you think most women feel like they are, because this is the argument that I hear in society now, that especially for Black women, we out earn most Black men in 2024. And and it's not even about the money, but you know, we do have our soul sisters in our tribe, and we do, a lot of women have children already. And so there is this argument happening on different platforms that's like, why do women need men? What do we need them for?
How's that been working for you?
I mean, I agree.
Not you. I'm
know.
I'm asking them. How's that been working for you? And if that's the case, I was just at a wedding this past weekend. My uncle. It wasn't a wedding. He renewed his vows. He's 83 years old.
I love that.
Renewed their vows. They've been married 60 years.
That's beautiful.
60 years.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that ain't been alive 60 years.
I haven't.
And to see me, yeah, me neither. and to see that they still have love, they still have, and to be surrounded by all of their family, and juxtapose that with, at the reception, I'm sitting down with my old Sunday school teacher. I said, "It's good to see you. You know, you've been doing good." She said, "Look at that." I said, "Look at what?" She says, "You see them diamonds on my finger now?" I said, "Show it. Look at you." I said, "I like that ring." She said, No. Somebody gave me that ring. I'm married now.
Oh.
She got married at 73 years old.
Wow.
73 years old.
For the first time?
Yeah, married. And you know what she said? She said, "It's easy to be alone."
Yes.
She said, "But I don't want to be alone.
We're not
I'm not meant to be alone." And a lot of women, a lot of these young girls think that it's cool and it's okay. But I'm sitting here telling, I love to take care of somebody. Every part of me wants to take care. I want to be taken care of. So at 73, she's decided, she found her man. She said, "So now I could be a helpmeet." 73. So to answer your question on that, I think we're better together. We deserve to be with one another, but you deserve to be with somebody that you are in alignment with.
Yes.
And that you are assigned to, and not just by happenstance, or, you know, because she's attractive and she fits the bill, or she, you know, he makes this amount of money. Don't do it for those reasons. Do it for the reasons of alignment. Because if you're not in alignment, then you're gonna be in my office and you're gonna be boohooing, talking about what had happened was
that part.
And I think that the more we get into our identity of who it is that we are and who it is that we want to be, the thing that attracted me to my wife was she understood who she was, but she understood who she wanted to be. But she understood that she couldn't be that person by herself.
Right.
And I think a lot of women have this independent attitude when we really need to be codependent.
Yeah.
On each other.
Yes.
And men too. Because men will isolate, we'll go into our cave, we'll go, "I don't need anybody but me." It's truly self-reliant. And that's a fallacy.
Yeah.
It doesn't really exist.
Yeah.
We need each other if we're going. I think 2025 is a year of real connections. Of people are actually going to realize, like, you know what? I don't know what we warring about. I don't know what we fighting about. All these men talking about, I'm protecting my peace. Brother, your peace, come on. How you going? how much time? Let me say this real quick.
Yeah,
I
go
just need to
ahead.
say this real quick because it's too many brothers talking about, I like my peace. Okay, how much peace are you giving her when she can't be at peace when you bringing war to her front door?
Facts.
War talking about, she's upset because I didn't tell her she was the only one in rotation, or the war that you bring into her front door because you using the credit card from your last relationship that she co-signed for you, pretending like you got money and you ain't really got no money, spending it all on her.
Ooh.
The war about you bringing her gonorrhea or chlamydia
Ooh.
because the condom slipped off and you didn't want to tell her because you didn't want to act like you didn't have to, you was going to finish and you just happened to like
Ooh.
the war that you're bringing to her front door and all of the things that you're lying about, making excuses about, neglecting to do, neglecting to be, and pretending to be, the war that you're bringing because you have not been a father to that child. The war that you're bringing because you have not given yourself the audacity to man up and to marry this woman that you have been stringing along for 4 years, pretending like you were going to marry her, pretending like you were going to give her all of the things that she asked for, but you knew good and well she was just a placeholder. You can't protect your peace if you bring in war to everybody's front step. And that's what I'm trying. I want men to realize that and acknowledge that and be real about it.
Yeah.
So all this, I'm protecting my peace. Come on, man. Look, she needs peace as well. But you can't give peace if you're only giving a piece and a fraction of yourself to her, and her. That's a cop-out. It's a bad cop-out because you're basically saying she don't deserve the whole me, the full me. I'm just going to play it safe and give a little piece of me to every woman that I come across. That's not manhood. That's a weak man. And we don't need any more weak men in 2025. We need men who are willing to step up and be the men of God that they're supposed to be.
Damn.
So no more protecting your peace, brother, if you bring a war to her doorstep.
Ooh, I mean, that's a bar. That was very honest.
It's truthful.
It's very much so.
It happens all the time.
Yeah, and I do feel like, and on both sides, I feel like people try to drape, I need peace, or it's really just a lack of accountability.
That's all it is.
And for me, I'd be declaring war on modern women, and soon I'll be declaring war on disgruntled broke men too, because I think it's important. And let me just define, when I say disgruntled broke man,
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, broke is not a number.
No, I know what you're saying.
Right. Like, so it's important for people to understand, like, there's a reason why you're disgruntled. There's a reason why you're projecting onto these women. There's a reason why there's no good women. That's not the truth.
That ain't the truth, man.
At all.
No, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
If everybody, I give you a good gauge for your audience. This how you tell if your picker is bad, because a lot of people got bad pickers.
Oh, let us know.
You keep picking the wrong people.
Yeah.
Take your last 10 relationships.
Yeah. Add
them up. Call them out in your head, or if you ain't got 10, go 5.
Okay.
Get 5.
I got 5 in my mind right now. Yeah.
Okay. Ask yourself this question: how many of those 5 people in your last relationships are engaged or married? How many of the 5 are engaged or married? I'll do 10. How many of my 10 last relationships are engaged or married?
Okay. What's the answer? Okay, so
me?
No. I want to know how many of the 5 or 10 are engaged or married. If they're engaged, or married, that means, versus if they're not engaged or married, that means.
That means you are picking wives or husbands.
Ah.
Some people don't pick wives or husbands. They pick placeholders. They pick playthings, play toys. people that
Jack,
no,
dear
no,
God,
I'm just saying, hold on
for the
now.
love of God.
I know, but listen, your picker is off. I can tell you, 8 out of the last 10 relationships I had, they married. I pick wives. I pick women who are wife. Everybody ain't a wife. Every woman is not a wife, and every man is not a husband.
Facts.
But if you're picking the people for the qualities of wives or the qualities of husbands, eventually they're gonna get it. Might not have worked out with you, but they're gonna get married to somebody because somebody else sees the value in the wife and the husband that they are. So somebody else is gonna pick them up and marry them. When we were in school, when we were younger, you always knew the good girls.
Yes.
Every man knew who the good. Nah, man, I can't play with her.
Yes.
I can't play games with her.
True.
I ain't trying to do. We knew the good girl. The good girl's the wife.
True.
It just trickles into adulthood of you being able to find that good girl and pick her, or find that good man and pick him. And if you've been picking some bad apples, we got to look at your picker.
Oh, you to blame.
We got to look at your picker.
Sheesh.
Because you're looking and you're searching for the wrong things and gravitating towards the wrong people for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that everything about you is bad, but some of the things and the common denominator.
Yeah.
It's probably you.
Damn. That's good.
It's an easy test.
I agree with you. I mean, really, you got my mind going like, who's all married? Like just rolling through the Rolodex. Like, wow, who's all, am I picking placeholders?
Yeah.
And to be honest, on the last one was definitely a placeholder for sure.
Okay.
But the crazy part is every relationship I've ever been in, he brings up marriage before I do. I never bring up marriage.
That's because you're a wife.
Touche.
You're a wife.
I received that.
No, you're a wife.
Thank you.
I see it. I got a good picker.
Thank you.
Clearly, I have a good picker. No, you got all the qualities of a wife, which he's gonna bring it up because he knows you're a wife. He don't want anybody else to have you. He wants to pursue you. He wants to get his good thing, his help me. He wants that, and let me tell you how to make a man commit. Can I tell you real quick?
Yes, please.
Okay.
We on a roll now.
Okay.
Shoosh.
It's three things
that
make men commit.
Yes.
Mystery,
Agreed.
maybes,
yes,
and men. Mystery, maybes, and men. Mystery means you got to be mysterious.
I say this all the time.
You gotta be, and so many women are not mysterious. Like if for a man, we love like exploring. That's why Star Trek was so popular. To boldly go where no man has gone before. We love exploring. We love the mystery of a woman. So if you wear leather pants one day, I can't wait to see her in a dress. I wonder what she looks like in a bikini. Mystery, first date jeans. Like I love that mystery. What's gone away is the mystery because a lot of it's social media. You tell me everything I need to know about you already. I can look at your entire page and see everything. I know what you ate. I know what food you don't like. I know who your friends are, your family are. The mystery. And men are borderline stalkers.
Yeah.
So we'll go in. Now, this is the warning for women. You got to be careful about what you're posting, about everything that if you're telling your entire life. A lot of men can use that as manipulation.
Yep. They can manipulate their way right into your bed.
Yep. Because they know everything. Oh, she likes that. She likes that. So have a little mystery about you.
I agree.
It does a lot for men's oxytocin.
Yep.
The second thing is maybes. We lived our life on maybes. Maybe if I scoot a little closer, she'll scoot a little closer. Maybe if I kiss on the cheek, she'll kiss me on the lips. She give me some tongue. when you was younger, that tongue, I was like, oh man, I can get some tongue.
Right.
Maybe I grab a booty or something.
Yeah.
It's the maybe. What has happened is you can't allow that maybe to turn into a might as well as a woman. Because if a maybe turns into a might as well, like if he stick the tip in and you say, well, I might as well go ahead and do it all. No. You got to keep that mystery. Keep those maybes.
All right.
Keep moving that goalpost just a little bit further. He gonna keep coming back.
Of course.
That's where our pursuit is. If you give us everything already, the pursuit is gone. Like I won. I got it. Last thing is men.
Mm.
You got mystery, you got maybes, you got men. If other men are trying to pursue you, that competition.
Suddenly my whole life makes sense.
that competition for us.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, somebody else wants you too?
Mm-hmm.
I gotta step my game
It's
up.
the conquer. Men want to conquer.
I gotta step my game up.
Yes.
That's how you make mystery, maybes, and men will get men to commit faster.
I agree.
Try it out.
I agree. I've never had a problem with commitment. I think I might have a problem with commitment.
Oh, well, let's talk about it.
I don't know if we got time to talk about
Hey,
it.
we on the couch.
Anissa, did you get a text already? Or are we okay? Okay.
We on the couch.
Well, let's talk about it. I don't think I have a problem. Well, right now I'm choosing not to commit.
Okay.
And I will say that because I'm always in a relationship. I have not been single since I was 15 years old.
You one of them.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand.
I am. I don't know if one of them, I don't know what that means, but so I'm always in a relationship. Girl, I'm a relationship girl.
Relationship girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am one of them.
There's nothing wrong with that, by the way.
No, I it's preserved me and I'm very grateful for that.
But you know why that is.
No.
Well, your wife.
Oh.
You just haven't taken that. You haven't done the ultimate relationship.
Agreed. And I've been engaged 2.5 times. And I know the half. We talk about it all the time.
What's the half?
The half is the man that I was dating. We were reading 101 questions to ask before you get engaged. And I learned he was a narcissist, like full-blown personality disorder. Okay. Was a lot of breadcrumbing. But he wanted me to think that we were going down the aisle. And my dad was sick at the time. And so I chose this man out of my own dark place. Okay. Never would have powerfully chose this person. Okay. So, and that's okay. I needed the experience.
Did you get half a ring?
No, he asked my dad for permission to marry me in front of myself and my mother, which was also breadcrumbing.
You couldn't say no.
Well, my dad.
Well, you could say no.
No. My dad got very upset that he would ever ask that question in front of myself or my mother.
Did he ask your dad first?
He asked my dad in front of me and my mom.
Oh, he didn't come to a man to man.
No. It was breadcrumbing. He was a narcissist. It was, buzzword, but it's the truth. Okay. Yeah. So it was all a part of the vision he was trying to enroll me into, but there was no intention behind it that I later, obviously experienced. But, so I've been engaged 2.5 times. And I think the thing for me right now, I've never been broken up with. And I pray to God that I never get broken up with because I've never experienced heartbreak.
You did it first?
Yep.
Okay.
I've never experienced heartbreak. I don't know that I ever want to. I've heard about it. It's not giving. Don't want to experience that. It's not, Yeah. But then also I feel like, and I pray that my next relationship is my life partner. Okay. I really do. I pray that because I'm not doing placeholders because if that were the case, I would have been, I've literally had people say, will you be my girlfriend? And I'm like, no, I will not. Well, because I'm in a get to know phase and I'm abstinent. So I'm getting to know people, not sexually, but intellectually, spiritually, mentally, emotionally. As you should. And
sex clouds judgment.
It definitely clouds judgment. And I'm not trying to be worn out and raggedy. I want what's mine to be mine. I just don't believe in casual sex. And not to say that there's anything wrong with sexual freedom or sexual liberation. However, I feel like so much casual sex is destroying the sexual market value. It's ruining it. It's setting the expectation to be ground level and that'll never be me, So, or the women that are into this podcast, because it's like, I don't owe you anything. And just as you don't owe me anything, So anyway, I say all that to say, this is the first time in my life since I was 15 that I have been single. And I think I'm coming up on 2 years in a couple months.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You know what's cool about that?
What?
You really get a chance to figure out who you are.
Yes. Now I will say I am dating.
No. Dating's fine.
Okay.
I'm saying being in a committed relationship.
Oh, yeah.
That's different.
Very much so.
Because you have a chance to really, because when you're in a relationship, you kind of acquiesce or just fall in line
yeah.
with the other person.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, well, I need to be this person for that person.
Yes.
Right. And you don't have a chance to really stand out and figure out what you want and what you
Yes.
like, what you desire, because you've been in a relationship for so long and
Yeah.
so many, so yeah, I think it's awesome. I think everyone should have an independent moment in their life.
Yes.
And I'm not saying like everybody needs to be free,
Yeah.
but I'm saying like you need to have an idea of what good looks like for you.
I agree. And I feel like I'm in that space
And
now.
dating helps that.
Yes. And I also feel like I'm getting glimpses of who I'm excited to be inside.
Mhm.
Like even in my relationship, there are glimpses that I've gotten where I'm like, oh, I can't wait to be this for my husband. Like my guy. The one thing that I'm really grateful for is inside of getting to know different men, I'm also learning who's willing to be patient. Who's willing to not? Who's like, do you really?
Mhm.
And it's pointing out what I'm learning is, are you actually looking for a fun girl? And you think that when I say that I'm abstinent, that I'm just saying that, and you just want to see, can you conquer me?
It's the maybe.
Or of course,
Yeah.
well, yes, that too. But also, are you really looking for something real?
Mhm.
I'll hear men tell me, "Oh my God, the dating pool is trash, and you're so different." But then you still go back to the trash dating pool because the truth is you're not ready for something real, And so it's being honest inside, and there's nothing wrong with that. Also,
Mhm.
if you want to
Mhm.
have fun, go have fun.
Sure.
Leave me out of it, which
Yeah.
is why I'm preserving my body,
Good.
because I'm not going to be the girl that's just ran through out here. It's just not. It's not going to happen.
Good for you.
Thank you. So, I say all of that to say that right now I haven't been single. I'm excited about building this podcast.
Mhm.
I have an amazing team. I'm so grateful. And inside of building this podcast, we also do skits with an amazing comedian named Country Wayne.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm excited about the speaking engagements. And I'm not ready. I'm prepared to be a wife, but I'm not ready to diminish what I have going on. And I know for a fact, because I'm wired this way,
Mhm.
as soon as I fall in line, I fall in line.
Fall in line.
And
Yeah.
so what I have going on diminishes, and I'm just not ready for that. I'm prepared. So when it happens, it'll just happen.
Okay. So let me caution you,
Okay.
because I've had this conversation many times.
Okay.
Don't get blindsided
Okay.
by the light.
What does that mean?
The attraction to the light of being able to pursue what you're passionate about
Mm-hmm.
can sometimes blind you to who's right in front of you.
That's very true.
And because you're so addicted and obsessed with this thing,
Mm-hmm.
you can immediately dismiss something good that's right there.
That's true.
And it's trying to get your attention, like, hey, look at me.
Yeah.
And sometimes women, because they're so driven and ambitious,
Miss it. No, I agree with that. And that's what I'm saying. When it's time,
Yeah.
it'll just be time.
Yeah.
It's not like a thing where I'm even like anti, oh, well, I have to do this for at least another 3 years. I'm not on that at all. But I am very much like, you have to come correct in order for me to really be prepared, like willing really to step away.
And correct. And I'll give you this tidbit of advice,
Mm-hmm.
because I've seen people in your trajectory.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference between the gift and the girl.
Yes.
The gift and the girl. Sometimes men will get
addicted to the gift.
Addicted to the gift.
I definitely
and
agree
forget
with
about
that.
the girl.
I already know.
And not even give the girl a chance, or not give himself a chance to get to know the girl.
Yeah.
Don't allow men to come into your life like that.
I promise.
Make sure that they know who the girl is.
And that's one thing that I say all the time is often, and not the men that I'm dating, but often most people, they fall more in love with the idea of who I am instead of who I actually am.
Yeah.
And I get it because I check a lot of boxes.
Yeah.
Humbly, I can say I've worked really hard on myself and continue to work on myself. And I'm also human. I'm also flawed.
Yep.
I also don't have all the answers. I also just want to be inside of my little girl. I also want to be goofy and dance Luther Vandross in the living room under candlelight. And I want to take bubble baths and I want to do all the things that are so cute to me.
Yeah.
And if you think that, I'm just this person that knows how to speak well and, you could take me to the galas, and
Mhm.
that's not me. So I'm definitely, I've been mindful of that for a
Yeah.
few
Yeah,
years
keep
now.
that real top of mind.
Hmm.
Because there's a lot of men that can get blinded by that.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's why I'm tough. I'm tough, Jack. I'm tough to crack. I really am now. In the past, I wasn't like this.
I mean, as you should. You grow older, you get wiser.
Yes.
And that wisdom is something that you should utilize in every shape, form, or fashion.
I
So I
receive
think that, as long as you're careful that you curate who comes into contact with you and who you date and how they see you, and you're vulnerable enough to allow them to see the girl.
Yes.
If they're worthy.
Yes.
Because some people come in, in sheep's clothing.
Absolutely.
So you got to be.
That's why the vetting process is the
vetting
key.
process is key. You got to be careful.
This is going to be our final question. I have loved having you on. You have brought so much value, clarity, understanding, just an opportunity to look inward, both for the man and the woman. So thank you so much for that. I knew this was going to be that. I'm already like clipping in my mind which clips are going to be up on the internet. But the final question is, here at It's Giving, we believe and encourage reading, whether that be through an actual book, or you can get the app Audible and listen to a book, because we believe in evolution and growth. And so my question to you is, what book has changed your life and why?
It's a good question. I'm going to say, I mean, if I'm realistic, the book that changed my life was called Durango Street. I was 11 years old, and I read this book, and it was the first time I had a chance to see myself in a character in a book that was outside of who it was and where I was. It was a similar circumstance. Now, I wouldn't recommend anybody go. You can go read this book if you want to, but for me, I think the book itself symbolized the possibility of doing something different than what was around me. Yeah. And I came up from a different environment. It was in the 80s. So yeah. Like, you from Canada, but it was this crack environment.
We never had crack where I'm from.
It's just so it was a different environment. Gangs, drugs, all that kind of stuff. And it helped me understand I can move past all of those things and become and do something different. I think if you find anything that encourages you to be different and to grow and to become and to do better, that's a given thing. So yeah, that's what was given.
I love it. I love it.
That's what changed my life.
You have truly been a blessing. And I mean, I don't know if we got to do a part 2 or what, but I just want to say thank you so much. I'm definitely going to connect all of your information on how people can find you. Check you out, the Good Men Club. That's amazing. Yeah. And thank you again for just giving us a look inward and outward at the man and the woman. And for those of you, if you're listening or watching at home, please make sure to hit that button and make sure you are subscribed. Hit that little bell so you get a notification with each new piece of content. This was like such an elevated conversation. I'm so grateful. And if no one has told you today, you are freaking phenomenal. Bomb.com. Nothing can stop you but you. But you got to do something about it. Love you guys. Bye.